Hi, shalom friends. When I was growing up, there was quite a popular toy. It was sort of a box, and it had like a little handle that you wound up. And unexpectedly, as you were winding it up, suddenly the box opened up and a clown with a spring jumped out and it startled everyone. I think they called it Jack in the Box, I'm not sure. So recently, I saw a cartoon where you see this toy, the clown is outside, and the caption is, it's hard to think out of the box. And I thought it was very cute. And then it just so happens to be that I was reading a book on creativity. And they gave one example to indicate whether you're creative or not. They say you have 4 minutes to figure this one out. You have a box that has thumbtacks. You have a candle, and you have 2 matches. And your goal is to attach the candle to the wall and light it. Now, some of you have already figured out what to do. Sadly, I didn't. But I was playing with the idea, okay, we have a match and a candle. Perhaps I should melt a little bit of the candle and attach it to the wall, but that won't work. So maybe after the wax hardens, I could put in the tacks. Everything that I thought of was really unfeasible and not practical. And more than 4 minutes passed, and I still wasn't sure what to do. And then I turned the page, and such a simple solution. You empty the box of the tacks. Now you have an empty box. You take one match, and you melt the bottom of the candle, you put it in the box. You take the tacks, and you attach the box to the wall. And then your second match, okay. Really, after I read it, I was once again humbled about how I think in the box. For me, what is a box? A box is a container. If it's not containing anything, what's the purpose of a box? You throw it out. And I believe one of the messages over here is an empty box is a container. It actually could contain something. What can an empty box contain? Well, you have a problem. You need a candle. Okay, you understand where I'm going with this. The box, when we use the expression thinking out of the box, what we're really saying is there are certain things that box us in. In other words, imaginary ideas that don't allow us to go beyond. So we're stuck. And what we have to do is figure out how to make this untenable situation doable. But we very rarely challenge the parameters within these parameters. Look, all of us use air travel today literally as commonplace as cars, bus, train. Could you imagine the first idea? We don't have wings, we don't have feathers, birds do not weigh 180 pounds. So man cannot fly, period. There's nothing to talk about. What we could do is try to figure out, we have 2 feet, how can we accelerate that? So we could get from 2 feet, let's put it on an animal that has 4 feet. That makes sense, so it's double. So we could go on a mule, a donkey, a horse. And then we might say, 1 second, is there a way to substitute feet for another form? Yeah, let's make it into a circle and so on. But flying? Come on. It's impossible until it became possible. They thought out of the box. We have hands and not feathers? Fine, let's create something. It's really important to challenge the way we're taught to think. So, for example, and of course as a proud Jew, it's very much on my mind what's happening in the Holy Land of Israel. And we have an insurmountable problem in italics. And it's based on, there's really no good solution. Whatever we do, we get into trouble again. What is that box? Well, one idea is that the land of Israel and the people of Israel are countries and peoples like anyone else. Okay. Another thing might be that the UN is what gave the land of Israel the state of Israel, and it's dependent on its goodwill till today. And it needs a protector. And it needs the acquiescence of many. There's also this idea of there's nothing more important in this world than being comfortable. So if people have running water and they have electricity and they have access to pleasure, ideals such as honor and dignity don't really count for much. And I can keep on going on with a lot of rigid ideas that Israel has accepted. Oh, about miracles? Yeah, that's biblical times. It doesn't happen in the 21st century. And then we say, why don't you just go beyond the box? Israel is not a country like all countries. The people of Israel are not people like all people. It's not the UN or the goodwill of others. It was a gift from God. Miracles do happen and continuously. And we don't need a protector when we rely on He who created everything, including the protector that we're relying on. And almost every one of these ideas can and should be challenged. And once you go out of that box that confines us, we'll find many solutions, including the most important one, which is identify the threat and get rid of it, plain and simple. Oh, politics. Let's not talk politics. Let's want to talk me and you. Come on, we're friends, right? What is our box? What confines us? Well, we can't be too observant because that will create anti-Semitism. We can't give too much charity because we have to put away for retirement. We can't give our kids 12 years of Torah study because we don't want them to be rabbis. They have to make a living. A long list of ideas which box us in. Get married? Well, you have to be settled first. Children? They're very expensive. Every one of those ideas is called exile. And it's self-imposed. We create those ideas, and then that boxes us in. Rather than to be out of the box, we're very unique people. We have a special relationship with our God. We're given resources which are infinite in power. We're given a soul and a brain and a heart. We have a Torah, we have leaders, we have teachers. Most of all, we have divine love and divine protection. It's not the sky is the limit. There is no limit. Let's get out of the box. You know, Hasidim, you talk about joy. Joy breaks out barriers. There's no barrier. When you're happy and happy and happy, you could do anything. And often you do. Because you're happy, because you're optimistic, because you have belief. This is the month of joy. Let's break out of the barriers, go beyond the box, and let's usher in a time when there will be a joyous, joyous world led by the righteous Mashiach. Amen.